Hello, I'm Dick Clark. This is a marriage certificate. It represents the hopes and dreams and commitments of two people. Everybody who gets one of these expects it to last a lifetime. This is a divorce settlement. It represents the shattered hopes and dreams of two people. And nobody ever enters into a marriage thinking their relationship will fail. Yet you know, 1 out of every 2 marriages ends in divorce. Why? Why does the love end? Why do the relationships that we expect to last a lifetime so often fall apart? Well, in a few minutes, you're going to see a program that could be the most important program you will ever watch. It's about relationships, why some last and why so many don't. But the program won't stop with examining the problem. You're going to meet a man named Gary Smalley, who has solutions. Solutions that have already helped hundreds of thousands of couples. You'll meet men and women whose relationships had been completely destroyed, but now they're happier and more fulfilled than they ever thought possible. And you'll meet couples who were content with their good relationships that are now enjoying a level of intimacy, communication, friendship, and romance that they never even knew existed. More importantly, you'll learn what you can do to revitalize and maximize every relationship in your life.
Is There Love After Marriage? Hosted by Dick Clark, with special guest, best-selling author and family counselor Gary Smalley.
In a few minutes, you and our studio audience are going to meet Gary Smalley, a best-selling author and family counselor who's personally counseled over 15,000 couples. Now, several years ago, he began sharing his insights and principles with tens of thousands of couples through live seminars. And the results have been nothing short of miraculous.
I think most men have to have a person to come into their lives, like Barb has mentioned, to tell us how women are wired. And they're very complicated. For instance, when we're having a conflict and Barb would say, just get out of here. Well, Gary taught me that what she was really saying is stay here and take me in your arms and cut through my tears and my raised voice and prove to me that I'm worth something to you.
When I first heard Gary, I was just amazed. He's the first man I've ever heard who understood the heart of a woman.
I can remember sitting in the front row weeping, and I thought, now why in the world am I crying? But Gary really makes a woman feel wonderful. But I really saw in Gary a man who really maybe understood women even more than I understood myself.
He has raised my whole level of awareness about who this lady is and what she really needs from me in terms of sensitivity to who she is, to what it takes to make her feel whole and complete in this marriage.
It truly has changed my life, the way I think and feel and understand, and it's been really a help.
I think before the seminar, I was very much wrapped up in what is my career, broadcasting, and not much concerned about what was going on in Kathy's life, really not much aware of what she was doing. After we went through the seminar, I developed somewhat more of a peripheral outlook on life, a better understanding of my wife, a better understanding of my family, a better understanding of why in situations she might think differently than I might be thinking. And it's carried over not from just our family and just our marriage relationship, but as Kathy said before, it's helped in our relationship with the kids.
I say that Gary Smalley's seminars are great because he teaches things to you that are very sensitive and personal, and yet in a way that isn't threatening, and he uses humor. I mean, I had a blast just being in the seminar, but walked away really thinking, wow, I have got to be a lot more careful, and there is a lot that I can do to make our marriage stronger.
Before the seminar, I did not feel very valued as a wife, and I think that's one of the big changes that Ron has made, is to make me feel like I really am an important part of our relationship. He started valuing me as a person, and that made so much difference, just in small ways. One thing he started doing, which might not mean a lot to some people, but it meant a great deal to me, he started helping around the house more. And to me, that was saying, I really care about you, I value you, and I want to help you out.
If I could find one word to use to summarize what Gary's seminar did to our marriage, it would be a miracle. My marriage has been something that I never thought it could be, kind of like a fantasy, like what you would dream when you're a little girl.
I wouldn't trade the experiences of going through Gary's seminars for anything. They've revolutionized our relationship. They've changed the way I see other relationships. Gary helped me begin to understand what I needed to be doing as a husband to really build our relationship. I know that the seminars are very important because men do not have a clue or any training on how they ought to treat their wives. They don't know how to love their wives. And the thing that Gary has done with all of his research and with his style of teaching, using word pictures and visual aids and all those kinds of things, he makes it so simple that even old offensive linemen like me can figure it all out, and it will really make a difference.
I feel like the biggest change I saw in Jim after we both attended the Gary Smalley seminar, was in the area of him valuing me. I felt that I took priority over all of the other things in his life. And I think I'd always been a priority to him, but I hadn't felt it before. And after attending the seminar, I felt like I was a priority.
Well, I'll tell you what else this seminar did for me. It obviously, from what Kay has said, it gave me back my wife, and it gave me back my kids.
Right now, I'd like you and our studio audience to meet the man who's helped these and hundreds of thousands of others to strengthen, deepen their personal relationships. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Smalley. You know, Gary, after seeing you on tape, it's a real pleasure to see you in person.
Well, Dick, it's a privilege to be here.
You know, I'm sure a lot of our viewers haven't seen your tapes, and they're probably wondering, how can one seminar have such a transforming and universal impact on so many couples? And the amazing thing is, it's regardless of age, regardless of background.
Well, Dick, really what's happened over the last 20 years is that we've done a special research project where we've asked two questions. One, we've asked, what are the major reasons why couples stay together and they're in harmony and mutual satisfaction in a relationship? And the second question we asked is, what strains your marriage out? What even can cause a couple to have their relationship in a divorce? Well, what we've done is we've interviewed over 30,000 women around the world and well over 10,000 couples. And we've come up with some basic reasons why couples can have real satisfying relationships, loving and lasting relationships. In fact, we even found that every couple where they were really enjoying each other and there was a healthy marriage, there were always 4 factors present. And we found it over and over again. And we even found that when one of those factors, just one, is missing, then it would literally weaken the entire marriage, and in some cases can be a major factor in divorce. So that, to some degree, all 4 of those factors have to be present in every relationship if it's going to be loving and lasting.
Well, now for the first time, Gary's seminar, Hidden Keys to Loving Relationships, is available on both video and audio cassettes. But, Gary, do you think the tapes are really as effective as the live seminar?
Well, Dick, actually they're more effective because you have the advantage of going home and reviewing them over and over again. And see, the live seminar, it's only 10 to 15% retention because they don't have that advantage, but you have that with the tapes.
What is more effective, audio or video?
Well, the videotapes are even more effective than the audio tapes because more of a person's senses are being used. In fact, as people review the videotapes, they can actually gain 100% of the seminar content, not the 10 to 15% that they walk away with when they attend a live seminar.
Now, this seminar is really different from what you might imagine, and not only in terms of what Gary teaches, but it's really upbeat, it's entertaining, and what I'd like to do here is show you a few brief clips from Gary's seminar, Hidden Keys to Loving Relationships. Take a look.
Logical, conquering sort of thing. And you tend to favor the right side, which means you're much more in touch with your feelings than we are. We're not as in touch with our feelings. You'll say things like this: what do you feel about your job? And a man will go, I feel fine, hon. We don't know how we feel. You're the one who knows how you feel because you're in touch with your feelings. It's more easy for you to cry and so on and so forth. You know that the average Male speaks anywhere from 12 to 25,000 words a day. And you know what the average woman speaks? It's 25,000 to 50. You know the implication of that? Your husband will come home from work that day. He's already spoken his 15,000 words. And so you say, honey, let's talk to that because you're only you're just warming up. Do you know what usually makes a woman become resistant? Her spirit closing by being offended, stepped on, harshness, broken promises, anger, lectures will affect her much more deeply than it affects a male. So they usually feel pain more deeply than we do. Kindness, energy, listening, forgiveness unties people. Watch it work. Next time something happens in your home, say to yourself, I'm not going to say anything. It's on my nature to say something, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to hold her. How many of you women, wives, grandmas, whatever, how would you love to have your husband just put his arms around you and hold you gently because he values you and just lets you express what you're going through and he doesn't try to solve it? How many of you'd love that next time you're losing energy? Let's see your hands. That looks like 99%. Probably 100.
Well, I'm sure the folks in our audience have a few questions they'd like to have answered, Gary, so let's start right over here.
What specific areas do you cover in your seminar?
Actually, what we do in our seminars, we cover the main areas that we found in our research that really makes a healthy family, healthy marriage relationship. We start off with the first area is helping husbands discover just how valuable their wife is. In fact, we talk about two qualities that a woman has built within her that a man can actually draw out of her a better relationship. We talk about how to energize your mate or your children or your friend in just 60 seconds. That's when they're losing energy or discouraged. We talk about the single most important factor that I've found that destroys marriages. And we teach a principle that really offsets that destroyer so that when we understand what's happening, we can make sure that we stay in harmony with the person that we really love and are committed to. It's the number one area that I use in my own home to stay in harmony with my wife and children. Then we talk about how you can be best friends. With your mate, with your children, as a single person, you can make a decision to be bonded to a person you want to be a good friend with. Then we talk about how to overcome the things that really discourage your marriage, and that's anger, hurt feelings, worry. We talk about what causes hurt feelings and how to get over it so that people around us can't manipulate us. Because, you know, there's so many couples that are entangled in arguments and they're angry with each other, hurting each other's feelings. We want to show you why we get angry, why our feelings are hurt, and actually lead you to a place where you don't have to have your feelings hurt, where you can actually overcome that problem. Then we get into the two areas, and I know this is unintentional, but it's the two areas that wives do that really sour a marriage. Actually, when they do these things, they actually demotivate us as men to want to relate with them. It's unintentional, but women need to know what you do, what you can do to us that actually can discourage us from wanting to relate to you. Then we talk about the most important emotional need of a man and how a wife can specifically meet that need.
You had a question?
Is there anything I can do to improve communication with my husband?
Well, that's a great question because, you know, when we talk about those 4 areas that every marriage needs, well, one of those areas is meaningful communication. And what we've done is we've designed a special communication technique, really, that's probably the most exciting thing that we do because it gives a woman a method where she can say about anything she wants to her husband, and he'll not only understand what she's saying, but he will be able to feel her words. In other words, experience what she's saying. And you can use it for a number of reasons, but look what you can use it for. You can use it for intimacy. In fact, I've watched couples go more intimate in 1 hour than some couples have in 10 years. Another touchy area in marriage, how do I correct my mate or even my children kind of thing, you know, because it can cause arguments and all that. Well, this is a method you can use that gets the least amount of reaction, negative reaction. And in fact, I watched literally at one of my seminars a couple back in the back during the break, and she was sharing with them, and I could see tears and so on. And they came up after the whole seminar was over and shared with me what they were doing. And literally, in about 5 minutes of time, she used this technique, And she stopped her husband, who had really been critical of her for about 10 years. He'd never understood. She used this method, and he stopped criticizing her. And this was 4 years ago now.
The gentleman?
What do you mean by opening and closing a person's spirit?
All I mean by that is that a person's spirit is like our center of our being, is who we really are. And it's this area, again, where I stay in harmony with my family, with my children, my wife. What it is, when someone offends us, we draw away from them, and I say, it's just a little handle I use, we close our spirit to them. We close them off. We sort of build a wall between ourselves and that person. Well, I'll show you how you can detect the building of a wall within another person, how to solve that problem, how to see the wall actually fall down, and when that person opens their spirit, we're back in harmony, and we're back in a healthy, continuing, growing relationship.
I've tried everything, and nothing works.
Well, actually, a lot of us feel that we've, tried everything because we've tried a number of things, but what we have found is that we wanted to give new techniques, new methods, things that worked in my home, things that I've seen work in thousands of families across the country. And in fact, at one point, I actually watched a person using this new communication technique. They were, again, in the audience, and they were just practicing. We were asking him to. And I watched a woman share her feelings about what she felt about living in the present home they were in. Her husband, for the first time in 10 years, finally understood what she was feeling. He was so moved. Now, he could afford to do this, but he was so moved, he literally took out his checkbook and wrote down a down payment to a new home, because when a person feels the pain of another person, we're moved to action.
Yes.
I'm a single parent. Do you have anything to help singles develop meaningful and lasting relationships?
Well, actually, I appreciate that question, because everything we teach is applicable both for singles and married couples. And couples don't have an edge, for example, on the need for intimacy. Singles have just as great a need. And take the whole area of loneliness. We actually get involved in identifying what is loneliness, what causes loneliness, and how these relationship principles actually apply in your friendships, because you can bond and become closer with another person if we know how to do that. We show you how you can actually develop a deeper relationship where you really see that you are becoming intimate with a person.
Another question?
Yes, Gary, do you have anything on parent-child relationships?
We have actually a parent seminar that's called Hidden Keys to Successful Parenting, and we deal with parenting from the cradle to courtship.
This lady over here?
Yes, Gary, my husband and I, we have different sex drives. Do you deal with that?
Well, actually, we cover that area, and we talk about the emotional and physical differences of men and women. We talk about how men tend to be sexually driven through hormones flowing through our body, and women tend to be more sexually responsive out of a meaningful relationship. And that's one of the reasons why we say that sexually, men are sort of like microwave ovens, and women are sort of like crock pots, in the sense that they warm up to sexual response when there's a good, meaningful relationship.
On that note, Gary, we're going to take a little break here and let our announcer tell our home viewers how they can get Gary Smalley's taped seminar, Hidden Keys to Loving Relationships. We'll be right back.
Throughout this program, we've heard couple after couple tell what happened to their relationships as a result of Gary Smalley's seminar, Hidden Keys to Loving Relationships. Tens of thousands of couples have attended Gary's live seminars. These same seminars are now available on video and audio cassettes, which have proven to be even more effective than Gary's live seminars. Hidden Keys to Loving Relationships is available on 2 video cassettes or 4 audio cassettes. His seminar, Hidden Keys to Successful Parenting, is also available on 2 video cassettes or 4 audio cassettes. The complete video seminars are only $69.95 each, while the audio seminars are only $39.95 each. Both include the seminar manual and come with a full money-back guarantee. Gary teaches the 4 critical elements that every relationship must have to succeed and grow, and how to bring these elements into your relationship. He'll show you the greatest emotional need of a man and how to meet it, the #1 destructive force in every relationship and how to avoid it. He'll teach you a communication technique that will enable your mate to instantly understand what you're saying, see your point of view, and actually feel what you're feeling about it. He'll show you how to become your mate's most valued priority, and these are just a few of the areas he covers. Nothing in life is more important than your marriage and family. And this seminar will give you the insights and techniques to strengthen your relationships more than anything else you've ever tried. Believe me, you won't be sorry. Here's how to order.
Call toll-free 1-800-525-4900. Have your credit card available when you call. If you order 2 or more sets, you'll receive a 20% discount. So call now. 1-800-525-4900. 1-800-525-4900.
I would have never thought one seminar could make a difference like this. Not at all. But I'm still amazed. Absolutely still amazed. Yeah. I've often wished I had Gary in my pocket.
Her thoughts are very important to me now. What she does is very important to me now. They weren't before.
And then the last thing we're going to do is how to get over the destructive emotions that can destroy and erode a good relationship. Think of this. How would you like to come to the place where your mate cannot hurt your feelings? Or your friend, or your boss, or your relatives? How many of you love to come to a place where you don't get your feelings hurt anymore? Let's see, look at that. How many of you like to see your anger reduced down to nothing? How would you like to stop worrying? I worry about 10 minutes a month. I used to worry all the time. I never fear. I never get jealous anymore. I never envy. I still get angry some days, and I know exactly what causes it. I know how to get rid of it instantly, so it doesn't stay hardly at all. One of the greatest things we need to do in life is to get rid of anger, because anger does an immense amount of damage within us and between other people.
We're back again with Gary Smalley. Did you have a question?
My husband won't hardly even talk to me. How can I get him to watch the tapes?
Well, actually, he doesn't have to listen, because if you get the tapes, and you'll see enough improvement in your own life that alone improves the relationship. But we will show you specifically how a woman can motivate a man who want to actually watch this with us, listen to it with us, and then you'll see your relationship improving. But remember, he doesn't have to listen to it, because enough improvement will come just from the things that you'll see change in your own life.
Yes?
I've told my husband what's wrong at least 100 times, but he never changes. How do you know that this will work?
Well, actually, one thing we can't do, but we often do, we can't assume that a person really understands. And that's why I spent the time to develop this, really this communication technique, because it really shortens the amount of time it takes to get someone to really understand us. In my own marriage, you know, I know that I was a year after hearing and learning some of this information to really understand my wife, Norma. But this method shortens that process, even to a matter of hours, no more than a day, because I know what it takes to really get a man and a woman to really be able to communicate.
This lady over here?
My husband will watch football and baseball, but I can't believe I could ever get him to watch these tapes.
Many of us don't realize this, but the testimonials that we just saw a few moments ago, many of those men we watched are actually pro football players. In fact, one of them has 2 Super Bowl rings. And we have watched macho, very disinterested men watch these videos, and we have seen men make major changes in their life. You know, most men want a plan that will help their marriage. And so this is part of the way we give them that, because they'll work on it if they have it.
You had a question?
My husband's father has Alzheimer's, and how can I help to energize him when he comes back from spending time with them?
Probably one of the key ways that we energize one another is by listening and holding people, touching them.